Welcome, my friends. I invite you to take a deep breath and consider this. What if you lived your life knowing with every fiber of your being that everything will always work out for you? That's a powerful thought, isn't it? But the reality is, you already know this deep down. You've just forgotten. Let me ask you, how much of your energy do you spend controlling outcomes, trying to fit life into the neat little box of your expectations? What if I told you that the more you control, the less you actually experience? Think about it. Life is a flowing river. It doesn't stop for us to try and adjust its course. The river simply flows, and those who go with it are the ones who truly live. You see, the mistake most of us make is thinking that we need to predict every step ahead. We're constantly fighting against the current, and in doing so, we miss the richness of the journey. But when we act as if everything will always work out, we align ourselves with the natural flow of life. We stop trying to micromanage every detail, and instead, we embrace the unfolding of things. We let go of the need to control, and in that release, we find true freedom. This isn't about being passive, it's about being present. Trust the process. Trust that everything, even the challenges, are part of a grand unfolding design. The universe has a way of showing you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, and always in a way that contributes to your growth. So here's the question. What if you decided today, right now, to let go of the fear, the doubt, the uncertainty? What if you trusted that everything would always work out? It's not about ignoring challenges. It's about seeing them for what they are, opportunities for deeper wisdom and greater strength. They are the very things that will propel you to where you need to be. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, this sounds too good to be true. Life is full of struggles. How can I possibly believe everything works out when it feels like I'm constantly fighting? But here's the truth. What we call struggle is only the friction that generates growth. Without it, there would be no motion, no evolution. So, when you face difficulties, instead of seeing them as failures, see them as the universe's way of nudging you into your next chapter. When you choose to act as if everything works out, you begin to transcend the illusion of failure. You no longer define your worth or your journey by setbacks. Every moment becomes a moment of learning, of expansion. And the beauty of this mindset is that the more you practice it, the more you'll begin to notice life actually does have a way of working out. In the end, what I'm offering to you today isn't just an idea. It's an invitation to experience life in a completely new way, to stop fighting against the flow and start dancing with it, to trust the process and to act as if everything works out for you. Because in the grand scheme of things it always does. Stay with that thought, let it sink in, let it guide you, and remember, life isn't here to break you, it's here to teach you how to break free. So, I invite you to listen closely as we delve deeper into what it truly means to act as if everything works out for you, and how you can begin to embody this truth in every moment of your life. Life, at its core, operates as a fluid, interconnected experience, one that flows like a river, constantly shifting and adapting. The truth we often overlook is that we are not separate from this flow, we are part of it. Just as a single drop of water does not question its place within the river, neither should we question our place in the vast, unfolding pattern of life. Our minds may attempt to categorize and control everything, but in reality, we are continuously influenced by forces far greater than ourselves. This doesn't imply powerlessness. Rather, it's an invitation to align ourselves with the natural flow of existence. When we resist this flow, we create friction within ourselves, fighting against the currents that are guiding us. But when we embrace the flow, we begin to realize that everything, every experience, every moment holds purpose. The challenge, however, lies in recognizing this interconnectedness and allowing ourselves to trust it. The more we release our need for control, the more we invite the freedom to experience life as it is, unpredictable and full of endless possibility. Life, in its purest form, does not conform to our schedules, expectations, or desires. It unfolds as it will, shaped by circumstances, choices, and the flow of time. When we allow ourselves to let go of rigid plans and accept life's uncertainty, we free ourselves from the anxiety of needing everything to be just right. Instead, we open up to the present moment where true growth and transformation happen. We come to understand that being in harmony with life isn't about having all the answers or being in control. It's about embracing the journey with curiosity, trust, and grace. In doing so, we learn that we are always part of something much bigger than ourselves, and this recognition creates a deep sense of peace and belonging. The unpredictable nature of life is not something to fear, but to embrace. We often think that the more we plan, the more we control, the smoother things will go. But in truth, the very essence of life is change, unpredictable, uncontrollable, and often surprising. When we try to mold every moment, every outcome, into something we can predict or control, we are fighting against the nature of reality itself. Life is fluid, constantly moving and evolving, and by its very nature, it defies the rigid structures we impose upon it. This uncertainty, though, is not a flaw. It is a gift. It is what makes life dynamic, rich, and full of opportunities that we would otherwise miss if we insisted on certainty. When we learn to embrace uncertainty, we start to see it not as something to avoid, but as the space where creativity, growth, and new possibilities emerge. There is a certain freedom in not knowing exactly what comes next. It opens us to the mystery of existence, to the possibility of new paths, new experiences, and new versions of ourselves. Instead of reacting with fear or anxiety to uncertainty, we can choose to lean into it, to trust that life will unfold exactly as it should, in its own time. By letting go of the need for certainty, we free ourselves from the heavy burden of always having to know, always needing things to go as planned. And in doing so, we invite a deeper, more fulfilling engagement with the present moment, where true peace and growth reside. We become not mere passengers, but active participants in the unfolding dance of life. Life unfolds in its own time at its own pace, and often in ways that are beyond our understanding. We have become so accustomed to the fast pace of modern life, to instant gratification and immediate results, that we often forget the deeper rhythms of existence. Nature itself is a perfect teacher in this regard. Flowers don't bloom on our schedule. Rivers don't flow according to our timelines. The seasons don't wait for us to be ready. Everything happens in its own time, and so does everything in our lives. We may wish for things to come to fruition quickly, for success, love, or fulfillment to arrive on our terms, but the truth is, life operates according to its own laws, which are not bound by our impatience. When we stop trying to force outcomes, we begin to realize that life's timing is always perfect. There is a reason for every delay, every waiting period. It's during these moments of stillness, of waiting, that the seeds of our growth are nurtured. Just as a tree doesn't grow overnight, our personal and spiritual development unfolds gradually, layer by layer, often in ways we cannot see at the time. And while we may feel frustration in the process, each step is necessary. It is a part of our journey toward becoming who we are meant to be. The idea that everything unfolds in its own time is not an invitation to complacency or passivity. Rather, it's an invitation to trust in the process. Trust that the right people, opportunities, and experiences will come to you when you are ready for them, not when you demand them. Life's rhythm, when fully embraced, teaches us patience and grace, showing us that everything, no matter how long it takes, is always unfolding as it should. Letting go is one of the most profound acts of freedom we can embrace. In a world that constantly teaches us to control, hold on, and cling to what we believe is ours, the idea of releasing can seem counterintuitive, even frightening. Yet, it is only in the act of letting go that we can fully experience the flow of life. Holding on to past grievances, disappointments, or rigid expectations not only stifles our growth, but it also keeps us anchored to a version of the past that no longer serves us. We cannot move forward when we are constantly looking over our shoulders, weighed down by what has already been. Letting go is not about giving up. It is about making space for something new, for new experiences, new lessons, and new perspectives. When we release the need for things to be a certain way, we open ourselves to the possibility of something greater. Letting go means we stop forcing our desires onto the universe and instead allow ourselves to be surprised by what life brings. It is a surrender, not of our dreams or ambitions, but of the need for control and certainty. By releasing our attachment to specific outcomes, we give ourselves the freedom to fully experience the present moment, trusting that life, in its wisdom, will provide what we need in due time. This is not to say that we should become passive, but rather that we should approach life with a sense of trust, openness, and acceptance. By letting go of the need to dictate every detail, we make room for life's natural flow to guide us, and in doing so, we discover that the very act of letting go leads us to a place of deeper understanding, peace, and fulfillment. Life's obstacles are often viewed as barriers or problems to overcome. But what if we shifted our perspective? What if every challenge we face is actually a gift, an opportunity for growth and transformation? In a world that constantly pushes us to achieve success and avoid failure, we tend to view difficulties as setbacks, moments of weakness, or even signs that we're not on the right path. But in reality, the obstacles we encounter are some of the most important teachers we have. They are not roadblocks, they are stepping stones. When we begin to see challenges as invitations to evolve rather than as problems to be fixed, we shift from a mindset of limitation to one of possibility. Each difficulty we face serves to stretch us beyond our current capabilities. It forces us to confront our fears, our insecurities, and the parts of ourselves that we often neglect. Far from being a hindrance, these challenges push us to step outside of our comfort zones, to learn, to adapt, and to grow in ways we would not have imagined. They are the universe's way of preparing us for something greater, helping us to shed old patterns and embrace new ways of thinking and being. When we look at life's challenges with curiosity instead of resistance, we begin to see them for what they truly are, opportunities to expand. In fact, many of the world's most successful people have faced immense challenges. They did not view their struggles as signs of failure, but as essential parts of their journey. They understood that it's not the absence of obstacles that defines success, but the ability to rise above them. So, when you face a challenge, ask yourself not, "Why is this happening to me?" but instead, "What is this teaching me? How can I grow from this?" When we reframe our obstacles in this way, we can approach them with gratitude, knowing that each one brings us closer to the person we are meant to become. The concept of failure is deeply ingrained in our culture. We are taught from an early age that success is the ultimate goal and failure is something to be avoided at all costs. But what if failure, as we define it, is nothing more than a social construct, a label we've given to moments that don't conform to our expectations? What if, instead of seeing failure as a negative experience, we began to see it as a natural and valuable part of the human experience? In truth, failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success. It is the very thing that propels us forward, forcing us to rethink, to innovate, to adapt. When we act as if everything always works out for us, we transcend the illusion of failure. This doesn't mean we will never face setbacks or experience disappointment. What it means is that we stop measuring our worth by the outcomes we achieve and start embracing the lessons in every experience, regardless of the result. Each so-called failure is simply a step along the way, a necessary part of the journey toward mastery and fulfillment. In this light, failure becomes a teacher rather than an enemy. It is through failure that we learn resilience, patience, and perseverance. We learn that success is not about always getting things right, but about continuing to move forward, even when things don't go according to plan. So, when you encounter a setback, rather than seeing it as a failure, ask yourself, "What is this moment teaching me? How can I use this experience to grow?" By shifting our perspective in this way, we free ourselves from the fear of failure and open ourselves to the possibility of greater success. We begin to understand that life is not a straight path, but a winding road full of unexpected turns. And every step, whether forward or backward, is part of the greater journey, In conclusion, when we begin to act as if everything always works out for us, we shift our entire approach to life. We stop fighting against the natural flow of existence and start aligning ourselves with its rhythm. Life becomes less about controlling outcomes and more about trusting the process. We embrace uncertainty, letting go of the need to predict every step, and instead, we learn to flow with life's natural cycles. We see every obstacle as an opportunity to grow and transform, and we realize that what we once called failure is merely a stepping stone on the path to success. When we trust that everything will work out, we free ourselves from the constant need for control and open ourselves to the endless possibilities that life has to offer. It is through this trust, this surrender, that we can truly live with peace, fulfillment, and a deep sense of purpose. Life, in all its unpredictability, is always guiding us to exactly where we need to be. And when we let go and trust in that process, we find that everything always works out exactly as it is meant to.